Nintendo's iconic plumber has worn many suits over the years, and I'm not talking about animal costumes either. For every raccoon or bee suit he's had to wear, Mario's been thrown into just as many unique situations. From outer space to a tropical island and just about everything in between, Mario's been everywhere. Yet through all his travels, he's brought the same irresistible gameplay, at least in terms of the core Super Mario series. From land and sea to air and space, what makes a Super Mario game has always been the same. That is, with one vegetable-filled exception. This is Super Mario Bros. 2. Well, I mean, kind of. It may look like a Super Mario game and sound like a Super Mario game, but it's not really a Super Mario game. Now, that's not to say it's a bad game, it's just that the first Super Mario Bros. Sort of left Nintendo's American branch between a Bob-omb and a Koopa shell. They realized the huge sales potential for a sequel, but they were also cautious. They didn't want to turn fans away by releasing a game that was too difficult. And to Nintendo of America, what came out of Japan was precisely that. The original Super Mario Bros. 2, the one released in Japan, both looked and played a lot like the original, but there was one huge difference. It was far more difficult. In fact, the level designs were borderline cruel at times, demanding a degree of platforming prowess we Americans apparently lacked. Concerned the game was just too tough, Nintendo of America canceled the release. And soon afterward, American audiences got a sequel of their own. Here, this is called Super Mario Bros. 2, but in Japan, this is Doki Doki Panic. You see, Nintendo took a totally unrelated Japanese platformer, substituted its 4 protagonists with Mario, Luigi, Toad, and the Princess, and called it a sequel. And that's why Super Mario Bros. 2 feels so far removed from the other Super Mario games. Even though Doki Doki Panic was produced by Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto and even borrowed elements from the first Super Mario Bros. Game, this was definitely not a Super Mario Bros. Game. Those things we talked about, those things that make a Super Mario game a Super Mario game, well, to be blunt, they're nowhere to be found in Super Mario Bros. 2. And for a game in that sacred line of Super Mario platformers, that's a really tough thing to get past. The aesthetics, the enemies, it just doesn't feel like an environment for Mario. The characters do feel very tacked on, and although there's nothing bad about the game itself, it's really strange to play it as Mario, especially when his abilities, and subsequently the gameplay, are so very different from what the character's mere presence mandates. It's one thing to not have any Koopa Troopas or Goombas. The game's premise actually does a nice job of explaining the game's setting. Spoiler alert, it's all just a dream, which is fitting for the game's surreal nature, but it's quite another thing entirely to play a Mario game in which jumping on enemies only gives him a ride. Now, to be fair, this was only the second Mario game. That revered formula of Super Mario may not have been so established back then. Perhaps it was less blasphemous than it seems today to take away Mario's ability to stomp enemies. But in hindsight, it was just a terrible decision, and as minor as it may sound, it makes Super Mario Bros. 2 significantly less enjoyable to play. Of course, that's not the only thing that makes this a disappointing Mario game. The levels are nowhere near as well designed as they are in the rest of the Super Mario games, and that's a problem compounded by the gameplay. See, throwing vegetables at enemies is a lot less satisfying and visceral than stomping on them, not to mention a lot less fun and a lot less Mario. So playing through its longer levels doesn't engage you because what you're doing isn't as engaging. But Super Mario Bros. 2 was a big success on the NES, and to its credit, there are reasons why. As I've said, it's not a bad game at all, it's just not a Mario game. If you can play Super Mario Bros. 2, forgetting that it's a link in a chain that includes undisputed masterpieces like Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario World, and Super Mario 64, there's actually a lot to like about it. There's a very surreal feeling to Super Mario Bros. 2. Many of the enemies wear masks, and when the masks aren't being worn, they're flying around the screen and attacking you. It's fitting that this bizarre world would actually be a dream in terms of story, but there's also a kind of Arabian mood as well. Its mood and unique gameplay considered, this is an interesting game, only this is supposed to be a Mario game, and in that regard, it's less of a dream than a nightmare. Listen, Doki Doki Panic is a good game. There's solid platforming and a few unique gameplay mechanics, including the ability to play as different characters. But as unfair as it may sound, it's not exactly an ideal template for Super Mario. The levels feel different, the platforming feels different, and among the many suits Super Mario has worn, the quirky and distinct Super Mario Bros. 2 is one he'll probably never wear again.